Hi, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. I am going to be talking to you about Binance. My name is Natasha Crespo. So, what is Binance? Binance is a crypto-to-crypto exchange where you can buy and sell various crypto-based tokens. So Binance has its own token on there, Bitcoin is there, and there are various other tokens that have come up through initial coin offerings. However, Binance has a very short history. It was started in July 2017 in Shanghai, China. The CEO wrote a white paper in English and Chinese on crypto-to-crypto exchange and then offered tokens to potential investors. In only 2 weeks, he was able to raise $15 million through selling his tokens. After the initial launch, however, those tokens lost about 20% of their value, which really displeased his investors. So he brought on a co-founder, a woman that was actually well known in the crypto technology field, and then those Binance tokens shot up 1,800%. After that initial beginning, Binance was able to become the most active crypto exchange in the world in only 8 months. And it's unique in that it is only a crypto-to-crypto exchange. They do not have any fiat currency on there whatsoever, which eliminates the need for banks and reduces the potential regulation that could apply to it. In its first year, Binance rose to more than 10 million users, 600 employees, and 500 million in profits. And today, it's able to carry out 1.4 million transactions per second, and its average daily trading volume is about 2 billion. So, after its beginning in July, Binance quickly decided it was time for a move. There were rumors of pending litigation against crypto exchanges in China, so Binance moved all of their cloud operations to Amazon Web Services, and they moved all their physical operations to Japan. Due to Bitcoin doing well in the next coming months following that, rising in value about 570%, Binance saw a big increase in the number of users it had. In fact, it ended up having a high of about 45,000 pending new customer applications, which needed to go through a Know Your Customer protocol so the identity of the user can be verified before they'd be allowed to trade on Binance. In that time period, the highest daily trading volume topped out at about $10 billion in one day. Not bad for a company that was only a few months old. However, great profits become a great target. In March of 2018, due to some irregular activity that got noticed, Binance realized that hackers were using fake Google ads to trick users into entering their Binance login info, and then those hackers were draining those users' accounts into other Binance accounts. They were able to pick up on that, though, and they quickly put a stop to it and were able to roll back those trades to give back what was taken from their users. This attracted the attention of the Japanese government, though, which then demanded that Binance get an exchange license. Binance's response was to avoid that regulation, and they unofficially moved their operations over to Malta. It's kind of unofficial because they technically didn't move things to Malta. They decided to allow their employees to work from wherever they wanted, from home or somewhere else, in any country, anywhere in the world. And in doing so, Binance became an actual decentralized business that's run by a distributed company. And Binance continued to do well, and in doing well, they got hacked again. In May of 2019, hackers used similar techniques that were used previously in those fake Google ads known as phishing, and they also used viruses to gain access to multiple user accounts. When one transaction bypassed a withdrawal check that they had, it finally got noticed. That transaction ended up in 7,000 Bitcoin, valued at about $40 million being taken. With all the alarms that were set up, the company decided to pause all withdrawals and try to contain the breach. While doing that, they closed any money coming into the organization and going out of the organization for an entire week. But they did allow trading to continue during that week. So despite the bad press that comes from that, Binance has continued to grow and expand. Binance opened a US-based office in September of 2018 called Binance.us, and this is a separate company, separate from Binance, so that it can comply with US regulations while still allowing US users to trade there. However, there has been a Forbes article indicating that Binance might be operating other entities in the US and trying to minimize the impact of US regulation on operations. However, this hasn't resulted in actually any kind of charges or litigation against Binance, so it may just be a rumor. The exchange, since its beginning, has expanded to offer things like leverage trading, margin trading, lending services, staking rewards, and peer-to-peer trading. So what is Binance now? It's more than just a crypto-to-crypto exchange. At this point, it's become a decentralized exchange that kind of operates on its own, and it's not regulated or controlled by any government. The goal for Binance is to become a decentralized autonomous organization, a user-owned and operated financial services platform. And the CEO has said that his goal was to make a difference in the world and use crypto to do good things. He wanted anyone, anywhere in the world at any time to be able to send money to anybody else without running into large barriers. With that in mind, Binance now offers a range of products. So BNB would be the short for the Binance token. They also have created Binance Chain, which we'll talk about a little bit more next. They have their own wallet, so you can hold all of your digital assets. They fund research related to crypto technology. They created an actual launchpad and labs for development and funding of different crypto technologies and exchanges that might come up. They have their own Binance Info, which is a little bit like the Wikipedia encyclopedia. Instead, it's a crypto encyclopedia where anybody can add or edit information. They have their own charity dedicated to funding crypto-based philanthropy. And they also have started an academy where people can learn about crypto technologies and crypto exchange. They're trying to be on the cutting edge of what crypto can do next. In the overall crypto ecosystem, Binance is the largest crypto-to-crypto exchange worldwide, and they've inspired a lot of other groups engaging in crypto-to-crypto exchange to actually start. When they started the Binance Chain or Binance Smart Chain, they were trying to replicate features of the Ethereum blockchain. However, unlike Ethereum, they're not fully decentralized. They're still controlled by 21 node operators, which are elected by their Binance token holders. And the largest Binance token holder is the CEO of the company. However, this does allow others who are not employees of Binance to create decentralized finance exchanges, and it limits Binance's involvement in the process. There was actually an exchange that started and ended in only one day after the system was completely overloaded. The CEO tweeted about it in excitement when it started and deleted that tweet very quickly after it failed. So Binance is really trying to capitalize on bringing in the people that are interested in that, but aren't as concerned about having a fully decentralized system, and it's actually slightly cheaper for them to do that. So they're trying to actually draw away from Ethereum's market a bit. So Binance has a lot of competitors since it's that top crypto-to-crypto exchange. And on November 1st of 2020, this was actually the trading volume for some of what are considered the top 10 in the crypto-to-crypto exchange. If you'll notice, Binance.us is actually listed separately as number 9. Coinbase tends to be the second competitor for Binance, and they do really good with their liquidity and trading. And their US-based location is actually not that far from the Binance one. They opened Binance very close. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to shoot me an email at ncrespo@kentlaw.iit.edu. And thank you for joining me today.